සුපිරි අධිවේගයක් පරදා ඔබ මවිත කරවන වේගයක් විඳ ගන්න. පියවර 3කින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ටෙලිකොම් ෆයිබර් ඔප්ටික් ජාලයට එක්වන්න. slp.lk වෙත පිවිසෙන්න.
Making headlines on First at 9. Cases in the pipeline. Female inmates of Valikada prison stage a protest atop a roof demanding that their cases be expedited. Reaching development goals. Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amravira says that country should go for a revolutionary change in its agricultural policy.
This is the high time to bring about a revolutionary change in our agriculture policy.
JO's challenge. Joint opposition MP Udaya Gammanpila charges Speaker Karu Jayasuriya that he has neglected parliamentary tradition.
The Honourable Speaker has misdirected himself about the tradition.
Is it true? Sri Lanka's batting legend Kumar Sangakkara replies to rumours over his entry into politics. Unexpected tragedy. More than 300 people injured after a section of wooden platform collapse at a music festival in Spain. A very good evening to you and welcome to First at 9, another Derana 24/7 Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. A group of female inmates launched a protest atop a roof at the Valikada prison today, demanding that court cases be expedited and against the decision taken by the administration to limit the amount of food brought by visitors for prisoners. When other than inquired into the matter, for Minister of Justice and Prison Reforms, Taldata Koral affirmed that protests carried out by the inmates will not change current rules and regulations implemented at the prison. Meanwhile, the prison officials said 2 persons were injured when a fight erupted between the female inmates and another party this evening. Currently, 3,425 inmates are serving time at the Valikada prison, amongst whom are 367 women. As a measure to prevent illegal substances from being brought to the prison administration took a decision to limit the amount of food being delivered to the inmates. According to prison officials, food packages brought from outside are now being thoroughly inspected. The stringent regulation has caused a significant drop in the amount of food packages. In protest against the decision, last Saturday, a tense situation erupted at the prison by female inmates. It is in this backdrop that 25 female inmates launched a protest atop a roof in the prison complex at 6:30 this morning. According to sources, the group of female inmates who engaged in the protest this morning have been accused of crimes related to drugs. Meanwhile, another demonstration was launched by the Committee for Protecting Rights of Prisoners opposite the prison headquarters today. They charge that they are protesting against the delay of court cases against prison inmates.
During the tenure of the former regime, they murdered prisoners, and officials who are responsible for this incident are still holding positions. Minister, we wish to ask you as to why you continue to hold back prisoners unnecessarily when you can grant them freedom. We will hold this fight once we bring this to the attention of the international community. Minister, these are prisoners, not a place to rag anybody.
It was also reported that a tense situation erupted during the protests following the behavior of a prison officer. Individuals who were released from Valikada prison spoke about their experience during the protest.
I was in prison 1.5 years ago. They did everything they can to us. There are inmates who have been there 2 to 3 years and have still not been released. Last year, 3 inmates died while they were in prison. Now they only grant us a visit that lasts for 10 minutes. They only eat once a day. There is no proper water as well.
Meanwhile, Minister of Justice and Prison Reform Stalathatha Korala was questioned on the protests that occurred at the Valikada prison at an event held in Ratnapura today.
I was not able to see the situation as I am in Ratnapura, but I have given instructions to the Valikada prison. It does not matter if they are on the roof or anywhere else. We will carry on without making any changes. We created an environment where anyone can protest if they have an issue. We do not shoot anyone like before. Everyone in this country has accepted that there are illegal activities taking place within the prisons, and I will put an end to this.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe affirms that the country should show the same courage for its development work that they manifested during the 30-year conflict. He made this statement at an event held in Kurunegala today.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe declared open the new water treatment plant and a sanitary project in Kurunegala today.
Our aim is to limit the country's debt to 70% of the budget, and for that we now have increased the country's revenue by 10%. Even though the public have a way of income, their income levels should be developed as their hope in this regard have reached high. By developing their income, we should also find ways of income to the youth. In order to do this, we created a new economy in 2015 within a country that was affected by a civil war. These 3 years might have been hard, but we can now move forward with a stable economy. I can say it out of faith that we are now moving forward and we should develop this country. We have to face the repercussions of a 30-year-old conflict. The war, however, has ended. If we fought against the divisions of the country, we should show the same courage to take this country forward and to make this country a strong economy in Asia.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that discussions are underway to consider the joint opposition as an independent group in Parliament. He expressed these views at an event held in Narayanpeta this morning.
A meeting was held between trade unions supporting the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Sri Abheharama Vihara in Narayanpeta this morning. This was the first time such a meeting was held. Meanwhile, former urban councillor and chairman of the Federation of SELF, employed Mahinda Kahandagama, who was arrested by the FCID following a complaint lodged by the All Island Three-Wheel Association, refused to participate for the meeting upon seeing its chairman, Sunil Jayasekara. However, once the former president arrived at the location, Mahinda Kahandagama expressed his displeasure over the manner it was organised.
Nobody is listening. That is the biggest issue. There are a group of leaders in Parliament who do not care about the working class. They think that those engaged in the state sector are a group of individuals who work only according to their orders. There was a fight which erupted during the railway protest. But I saw a photo on Facebook that the same individual who caused the fight was the same person responsible for the tense situation during the petroleum issue. The only difference is that this individual did not have a pole this time. Who are these persons creating such incidents? It is the government. They use individuals to assault state workers in an attempt to chase them away. Those in Parliament only wants to fulfill their own personal agenda. We are requesting the post of opposition leader based on principle, but the government is not even allowing that.
Following the event, the former president addressed the media.
Leader of the Pivituru Helorumea parliamentarian Udayagama Pillai insists that if Speaker Karu Jayasuriya is not willing to recognise the joint opposition as an independent group, they will in turn stop recognising the Speaker in his due position. Responding to the Speaker's decision over the position of the opposition leader, the parliamentarian said that the Speaker is continuing to ignore traditions of Parliament as he is only following instructions.
Unfortunately, the Speaker has ignored the arguments brought forward by the JO in his decision. The most highlighted argument is the UPFA at the moment locked in an agreement with the UNP. That's why the UPFA disqualified to demand for the office of the leader of the opposition. This is not the truth. The agreement was signed between the UNP and the SLFP, not the UPFA. At this moment in Parliament, there are only 25 parliamentarians in the government. In contrast, there are 70 UPFA parliamentarians in the opposition. Therefore, in reality, UPFA should be considered as a party in the opposition, not as a party in the government. The government alleges that JO is merely a parliamentary group, not a political party. This is also against a tradition. The Honourable Speaker has misdirected himself about the tradition. Because on 16th June 2005, 39 JVP members of the UPFA crossed over and sat in the opposition. Then Speaker recognized 39 UPFA members as a group in the opposition. Similarly, 18 UNPs led by the present Speaker himself, Mr. Karu Jayasuriya, joined the government, and those were considered as a group in the government, not as a part of the opposition. So these traditions clearly show that the office of Leader of Opposition should be given to the JO. The Speaker ignore all these facts because he is advised to do so. If the Speaker is not willing to recognize us, in turn, we will have to stop recognizing him.
Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera says that Sri Lanka should bring a revolutionary change in its agricultural policy to make farming a profitable business. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Council for Agriculture Research Policy, Dr. S.S. Jawardena, points out the urgent need of a national mission prioritizing the country's farmer in order to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. They made these remarks at an event held in Colombo today.
The SLCARP International Agricultural Research Symposium 2018 was held under the auspices of Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaraveera. This year's event was held under the theme Doubling the Farmer's Income Through Innovative Agriculture.
Farmers are facing a serious challenge of sustaining desirable profit levels due to increase in cost of agricultural inputs, including cost of labor. It is rather disturbing to report here that information on farmers' income being so crucial to understand income dynamics of the farm households and the devise strategies or to make policy decisions. Information is not available as we have not focused ourselves in this direction up to now. One of the serious constraints we are facing today is low crop productivity due to degraded land and depleted soil. Since more than 90% of our highland agriculture is rain-fed, we have not been able to benefit from the recent technological advancement, including the genetic potential of some of our crop varieties that we have bred. Under the above circumstances, it has become urgent to put in place a national mission on Farmer First in achieving 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. It must be remembered that to achieve 8% of the growth in GDP, a minimum of 4% growth in agriculture sector is a must in a country like Sri Lanka.
One of the biggest problems of farmers are facing today is the very small size of land holdings. In most cases, it is less than a hectare. This is the high time to bring about a revolutionary change in our agriculture policy to make farming a profitable business. One serious challenge we are facing today to attract youth to agriculture. Our policies to modernize agriculture, increase farm productivity through the use of modern technology and modern farming practices will attract our new generation for farmers and enable them to earn not only high profit but to get better recognition in society.
Ministry of Lands and Parliamentary Reforms has confirmed that monthly payments of 200,000 rupees have been made to a selected group of 55 MPs. A list consisting the names of these parliamentarians had been issued by the Information Officer of the Ministry following a request made by Parliamentarian Gamini Lokuge.
On the 28th of May this year, Parliamentarian Gamini Lokuge made a request from the Secretary to the Ministry of Lands and Parliamentary Reforms to reveal information regarding extra payments worth 200,000 rupees to a selected group of MPs. These payments have allegedly been made to these parliamentarians as an extra payment to their salary and other remunerations. Responding to the parliamentarians' request, the Information Officer to the Ministry had sent a letter on the 20th of June saying that these payments have been made to cover transportation costs of MPs who are appointed to supervise state development projects. As per the Cabinet decision made on the 21st of June in 2016, the officer had also issued a list consisting the names of 55 MPs who received these payments. The list mentions the names of parliamentarians representing the United National Party, Unity Government and several of other MPs who left the Unity Government to join with the opposition.
There is no point to increase payments by 100,000 rupees. All of them are rich parliamentarians. They have already given 200,000 rupees for supervising. So what exactly have they supervised now? During the tenure of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, we know that money had been allocated for many development projects. Although these payments have been made, no such development has taken place in this country. I read a newspaper which had quoted Minister Gantha Karunatilaka claiming that these kinds of payments have been made during the tenure of the previous government as well. No such payments were made back in the day, Minister Karunatilaka.
Minister of National Coexistence, Dialogue and Official Languages Manu Ganeshan says that media reports which states that he held discussions with former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to form a new government in 2020 were false. He made these remarks today addressing a meeting in Ratnapura.
There was a front page news item in a newspaper today and it said that Manu Ganeshan and Rauf Hakim and another had a discussion with former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and discussed to defeat the budget due this November. It also said that we would make a new regime with Mahinda Rajapaksa in 2020. Yes, I met the former president in Parliament a few days ago. No obstacles to meet him and we met. He also wanted to meet us. We wanted to meet him and that's why it happened and we have no personal issues. The reason of our meeting was the upcoming provincial council elections. We discussed over the method to hold elections. Then we also engaged in personal talks. I told him that he is more handsome now and he also jovially replied. Those are personal talks, but the newspaper said about a new regime in 2020. That is not true as we will not leave the government.
Minister of Telecommunication, Digital Infrastructure and Foreign Employment, Harin Fernando, says he is not pleased with the government of good governance as it is the reason behind the suffering of many members of the UMP. He expressed these views following the party's membership drive held in Badulla, attended by UMP General Secretary Minister Akila Viraj Karivasam and several others.
That issue should be questioned from the Western Province Chief Minister, who is an SLFPA. However, the governor has already ordered to stop that. The FTA with Singapore is beneficial to the country. We're not ready to answer the definitions by each and everyone. We will soon pass its benefits to the general public. The President has appointed a committee to look into it and that is democratic and good. No issue of it. Half of the UPFA is in the government. Then how can the same party have the post of opposition leader? They say that we gave it to parliamentarian Nimal Siripala de Silva, but we offered the post to him before the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was passed. If they really wanted the post, they should resign from the party personally. I like it very much that if the post goes to parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena. However, they are not enough to realize this basic logic. They came to hand over a letter saying that they resigned from the UPFA, but they are afraid of doing so because they want the parliamentarian post than that. They want both. Yes, even I'm not happy over the good governance. It is the UNP members who suffer due to the good governance. Generally, the good governance was good for the public, but not for us.
Sri Lanka's batting legend Kumar Sangakkara says that he had no intention of making a foray into politics after local media reported he was eyeing for next presidential elections. Sangakkara's comments came amid a media frenzy comparing him to Imran Khan, the cricketing great who is set to be sworn in as Pakistan's Prime Minister on Saturday. Releasing a statement via Facebook, Sangakkara says, quote, "I would like to put to rest the speculation and rumour once and for all, confirming that I do not harbour any ambitions for political office. I never have and with enormous certainty I can say I never will," unquote. Chief incumbent of the Dharmayatana, Venerable Alle Gunawansa Thera, accuses the public is being penalised due to dealings between politicians and the international community. Venerable Thera made these remarks following a meeting with Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna, Professor G.L. Piris today.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Piris, met with Venerable Kotugoda Dhammavansa Thera at the Dharmarama Temple in Dehiwala this morning. He later met with the chief incumbent of the Dharmayatanaya, Venerable Alle Gunawansa Thera, at the Dharmayatanaya in Colombo 7. Following the meeting, the chief incumbent expressed views to media.
Although it is a country filled with people with problems, there is no owner for this country. There is no owner for the race or religion. Things get destroyed when there is no owner. Let's take matters into our hands now without giving contracts to politicians. It is the public who have become the cricket ball in the match between politicians and the international community.
UPFA parliamentarian Dasri Jayasekara says that the government's failure to make strong decisions have left MPs directionless. Parliamentarian Jayasekara made these remarks addressing the SLFP membership drive held in Beruwala yesterday.
Some say that Dasri was with Mahinda Rajapaksa and now he is with President Maithripala Sirisena. Yes, when the former president was the party leader, I was with him. When Maithripala Sirisena became the leader of the party, I am with him. I am in the SLFP. We have to be with the leader of the party. I'm not ready to go behind any individual persons. We have only the leader and I work with him. 3.7 million passengers use the railway daily. No strike action in the morning. But when they are going to go home, Railways is on a strike. What is the solution by Minister Mangala Samaravira? Stop the strike and come for talks. Is that right? Today, no finance minister, no transport minister, but the president has solved the issue. That is not the way to solve these issues. The country is in a situation where no clear decisions can be taken. When a decision is taken, another is there to stop it. The reason is that no single party has power to form a government by themselves. In this situation, we have lost our ways.
Meanwhile, MP Jayasekara also participated at the SLFP's membership drive at Ahaliyagoda and stressed that he was no more member of the SLFP group of 16.
I always say that I'm not in that group and allow me to go alone. They don't listen to it and say that I'm in that group. Only 4 people from that group came to the party's central committee meeting. That is great. We're with various ideas. However, we will not leave the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
We will join you with business news after this short commercial break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Minister of Tourism and Christian Affairs Joram Maratunga stressed the need for upholding standards at hotels if Sri Lanka is considering the tourism industry to become the foremost foreign exchange earner. He added that government is targeting to attract 3 million tourists in 2019, adding that the current number of tourist arrivals to the country is insufficient. He expressed these views at an event held in Colombo today.
A media briefing was held to announce Sri Lanka Tourism Awards 2018, which is to be held in December under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. It will be held for the 6th consecutive time and the award ceremony will facilitate 72 top-performing individuals in the tourism sector.
If Sri Lanka is trying to look at tourism as a foremost foreign exchange earner and an industry that would give sufficient employment to the younger generation, then we must keep up to the standards. In order to, 1, ensure the safety of the tourists who come here, 2, to give them their money's worth. That is what is important. That is why people are looking, 1, for safe destinations and also to have a very enjoyable holiday to come to Sri Lanka. And I know now this year we are coming in for about 2.5 million tourist arrivals, which is insufficient. Compared to the rest of the Asian countries, I am not satisfied at all with the numbers that are arriving. There are some problems. Arrival at the BIA is one of the major problems. Connectivity is another one. where local flights have to operate in order to take people to destinations they would like, not taking hours and hours to travel by road. If the climatic conditions remain good and the people remain calm, then of course we can go up to 3 million or 3.5 million next year.
Shares edged lower for a second straight session today, led by market heavyweights John Keel's holdings. The Osha price index fell 0.21% to 6,128.82 points, moving further away from its highest close since July 25th hit on Thursday. The index has declined about 3.8% so far this year. Let's now cross over to Nisansala Kurukumudali from First Capital for more details from the trading floor.
ASPI witnessed a negative sentiment for the second consecutive day, mainly dragged down by John Keel's and Dialogue. Turnover recorded a one-week low. On the crossings board, 2.6 million shares of Tokyo non-voting was traded at Rs 25 a share, and 256,000 shares of John Keel's was traded at Rs 142.40 a share.
On to one of our headline making news now. More than 300 people were injured after a section of a wooden platform collapsed at an urban sports and music festival in Spain yesterday. 5 are reported to be seriously injured.
The venue had been packed with people watching the Mallorcan rap artist Relsby at the 2-day O Marisquinho event in the northwest city of Vigo in Galicia when the wooden concert platform collapsed. Police confirmed that there were no known fatalities. Witnesses reported scenes of panic as people, many of them teenagers, tried to scramble to safety. Several emergency teams attended to the injured. Local media reported that the wooden platform gave way during the first song of the concert, as Relsby, who had just started his performance, told the crowd to jump. An investigation had been launched into the causes of the incident. O Marisquinho is a free festival taking place outdoors in Vigo in August, attended by some 160,000 visitors.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across the world.
6 large new wildfires have erupted in the United States, pushing the number of major active blazes nationwide to over 100. More than 30,000 personnel, including firefighters from across the United States and nearly 140 from Australia and New Zealand, were battling the blazes. The wildfires have consumed more than 1.6 million acres so far. Japanese Princess Aiko was officially engaged to Commoner Kei Moriya yesterday in an imperial engagement ceremony held at Tokyo's Imperial House. Princess Aiko attended the traditional Japanese engagement ceremony with her mother, accepting the official marriage proposal and a list of gifts, including Japanese sake and clothes that were delivered by a messenger sent by Moriya. Princess Aiko's engagement follows Princess Mako's path to marry with a commoner. A newly released video shows how a girl got stuck in an escalator in Guiyuan City in China last week as she stepped into the portion where one of its panels was missing. A woman nearby quickly reacted, running to the children and tried to pull the girl's leg out of the escalator. After attracting some attention from passers-by, a man can be seen in the surveillance video to hit the emergency button to stop the escalator from moving. Colombians wrapped up the annual flower festival in the northwest city of Medellin with a traditional parade. This year's festival attracted more than 20,000 tourists and 510 flower designers are called. Colombia's famed flower industry is the largest in the Western Hemisphere and the second largest in the world after the Netherlands.
We will join you with sports news on the other side.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
On to your weather forecast for the next 24 hours now. Showers or thundershowers will occur at times in Sabragamu and central provinces and in Kalutara and Galle districts. Several spells of showers will occur in northwestern province and in Colombo, Gampha, Matara and Hambantota districts. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabragamu and central provinces and in Kalutara district. With that, let's take a look at your city-by-city forecast. And before we go tonight, we'd like to take you to show visuals of nature and wildlife of Sri Lanka. One of the many reasons why foreigners visit Sri Lanka is because of its very diverse wildlife. From flora to fauna, a lot of species are only endemic to Sri Lanka. A lot of people, even the locals, come to nature reserves and forests to get a glimpse of rare creatures for maybe once in their whole lifetime. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.